Good evening. You're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Saraya Mia. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim calls on Malaysians to embrace the true meaning of an independent and free Malaysia while rejecting division and hostility. In a Facebook post to mark Malaysia Day, Anwar also urged all Malaysians to uphold unity to elevate the country's potential and capabilities to the highest level.
He said the annual Malaysia Day celebration should be a manifestation of love for the nation and unity among the people, transcending race, religion and culture. In his post, he stated that Malaysia is 61 years old and together as a country, we have overcome various challenges during this period and emerged stronger. Malaysia Day is celebrated on September 16th each year to commemorate the formation of Malaysia in 1963.
Earlier tonight, Anwar attended the 2024 Malaysia Day celebrations held at Padang Merdeka in Kota Kinabalu. Also present, top leaders from the cabinet as well as government leaders from Sabah and Sarawak.
The report on the proposal for mandatory halal certification is nearly complete and is set to be presented to the cabinet this Wednesday. Religious Affairs Minister Dr. Muhammad Naim Mukhtar says a draft proposal to make halal certification mandatory for all food premises has also been prepared and will be presented at the same meeting.
He added that his ministry wanted to explore the possibility of making halal certification mandatory due to growing concerns among the Muslim community. He told the media this during the national level Maulidur Rasul celebration earlier today. Muhammad Naim added that if the initial proposal requires further discussion, the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM, will engage with all relevant stakeholders. He added that if the Cabinet approves the proposal, a comprehensive study will follow, including seeking the views of the Malay rulers as the issue pertains to religion. He further clarified that input from various associations, restaurant operators and other stakeholders will also be considered. Last week, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim instructed Muhammad Naim to prepare a comprehensive report on the proposal for mandatory halal certification.
A special committee will be established to look into the scandal involving Global Equine Service and Business Holdings GISB. Religious Affairs Minister Dr. Muhammad Naim Mukhtar says authorities plan to call up former members of the group for further information.
The minister said various agencies in the government were collaborating to ensure the welfare of children rescued from GISB's homes last week. He added that a paper would be brought to the National Council of Islamic Religious Affairs to determine if GISB was a religiously deviant organisation. On September 11th, police rescued 402 children from 20 homes connected to GISB, following claims of sodomy and abuse against the children. GISB has since denied the allegations and threatened legal action against those who defamed the company. A total of 171 people have been arrested.
In other news, PKR has yet to decide on postponing its internal polls until after the 16th general election. Newly appointed Party Secretary General Fuzia Saleh says the matter was discussed at the Central Leadership Council meeting on Sunday, but no definitive decision was made.
Fuzia, who is also Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Deputy Minister, said the council agreed that more engagement with party leadership at all levels was needed before a decision can be finalised. Fuzia was appointed as PKR's new Secretary General on September 15th, replacing Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail. Saifuddin had stepped down from the role to focus on his duties as Pakatan Harapan Secretary General, PKR Political Bureau member and member of the Unity Government's Leadership Consultative Council.
Global climate change has altered both the pattern and intensity of the monsoon season, making flood management even more challenging. Deputy Energy Transition and Water Transformation Minister Akmal Nasrullah Muhammad Nasir says the effects of climate change has shifted the monsoon season in both its timing and intensity, leading to more extreme weather events, such as unexpected heavy rainfall. In response, he said the ministry is concentrating on infrastructure projects, including flood mitigation efforts and implementing measures such as distributing pumps to promptly remove water from inundated areas. He said the focus of the ministry is on large river basins, while city drainage is primarily managed by local authorities, along with the Public Works Department and other ministries. Therefore, he stressed that effective coordination is essential. The weather in Malaysia is characterized by two monsoon regimes, namely the southwest monsoon that starts from late May to September and the northeast monsoon from November to March. It's time for a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Penyasaran subsidi diesel di Semenanjung tidak akan memberi kesan kepada harga barangan keperluan di Sabah, Sarawak dan Labuan.
660 individu berusia bawah 21 tahun di Sarawak telah diberikan kewarganegaraan.
Sarawak kini menjalinkan kerjasama dengan Bank Dunia dalam menjayakan perdagangan karbonnya.
Welcome back. Dozens of Malaysian holiday goers wishing to go to Thailand over the long weekend had their dreams dashed at the border. The reason? Passport issues, income tax arrears, custom tax, and unresolved old criminal cases.
Kedah Immigration Director Muhammad Rizwan Muhammad Zain said the problems were detected through data obtained from the Bukit Kayu Hitam Immigration, Customs, Quarantine and Security Complex. He said there were 10 cases involving damaged passports, such as being torn, water damaged, missing pages and having scratches. He added that there were also 20 cases related to income tax arrears and 9 cases involving customs issues. Malaysians were advised to check their travel status online at the Immigration's Travel Check System (SSPI) portal to avoid last-minute stress and disappointment before making plans to travel overseas. Malaysians only need to enter their MyCard number in the SSPI portal to know whether or not they are on the travel restriction list.
On to international news. Manila will send a replacement for a Philippine Coast Guard ship that headed home on the weekend after a 5-month deployment at a fiercely contested shoal in the South China Sea. The Philippines Maritime Council said the BRP Teresa Magbanua was sailing back to Palawan port from Sabina Shoal with its mission accomplished. The announcement to immediately replace the Philippine Coast Guard vessel is likely to irk China. The 97-meter vessel had been anchored inside Sabina Shoal since April to assert the Philippine claims to the area within its exclusive economic zone and to prevent China from seizing it. Spokesperson for the National Maritime Council said the vessel's return was necessary to the medical needs of its crew and to undergo repairs. Philippines has reassured that it will keep their presence there without sharing which vessel would take over. Meanwhile, China Coast Guard spokesperson said the Philippine Coast Guard ship unlawfully stationed at China's Xianbinqiao seriously violated China's territorial sovereignty and gravely undermined regional peace and stability. China asserts sovereignty over nearly all of the South China Sea, including areas claimed by the Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Brunei. A 2016 international tribunal ruling said Beijing's assertion has no legal basis. Meanwhile, Typhoon Babinka made landfall in Shanghai earlier this morning, becoming the most powerful tropical cyclone to directly hit the Chinese financial hub in 75 years. Local officials said more than 400,000 people in the Shanghai metropolitan area were relocated since Sunday evening.
Packing top wind speeds of 151 kilometers per hour near its eye, Babinka landed in the city of nearly 25 million around 7:30 a.m. This was the strongest storm to strike Shanghai since Typhoon Gloria in 1949. More than 1,400 flights from the city's 2 airports and over 570 passenger trains were cancelled since Sunday evening, disrupting travel plans of many people on the move over the Mid-Autumn Festival holiday, a 3-day public holiday in China. Shanghai is rarely subject to direct hits from strong typhoons that generally make landfall further south in China. Yagi, a destructive Category 4 storm, roared past southern Hainan province last week.
Over in India, police detained 104 striking workers and union leaders from a Samsung electronics plant in the country's south today for planning an unauthorized march. This marks an escalation of the strike, where protesters have boycotted work for 7 days to demand higher wages.
The workers had planned to start a protest march, but police said they were detained as no permission was given since there are schools, colleges and hospitals in the area. More than 1,000 out of 1,800 workers have been protesting at a makeshift tent near the Samsung home appliance plant near Chennai City in the state of Tamil Nadu. Besides higher wages, they are calling for better working hours and recognition of a union backed by influential labour group Centre of Indian Trade Unions. Samsung has resisted recognizing any union backed by a national labour group, and talks with both workers and state government officials have so far failed to produce a resolution. The strike has disrupted production at the plant, which accounts for roughly a third of Samsung's annual India revenue of $12 billion.
An apparent second assassination attempt on Donald Trump in just over 2 months should not be seen as a Secret Service failure. Security analyst Jason Russell, who is a former Secret Service agent, said while an attempt on Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th was the result of a clear communications failure, on Sunday the protection worked.
According to Russell, there is no chance for all threats to be eliminated, noting that the Secret Service faced limitations on manpower and resources that it has been trying to remedy since the first assassination attempt.
Well, I think the thing we have to identify in this is the protection worked, right? The agents were out in front, they were able to identify the threat, they were able to engage with the threat. Certainly the fact that he was able to get where he was, is going to be examined. I know that the Secret Service is trying to, increase the number of resources, not only human resources, but also technology resources, bring in, some retired agents to supplement what they kind of have as existing, current agents. So I think since Butler, Pennsylvania, the Secret Service has really tried to increase the level of protection. I believe today they mentioned that they may had doubled the number of agents that they would typically have maybe a year or two ago. So they're certainly increasing the protective tempo. It's just a matter of, you can't eliminate all threats. That's just the reality of the world that we live in.
Law enforcement officials said U.S. Secret Service agents spotted and fired on a gunman in some bushes near the property line who dropped an AK-47 style assault rifle and was arrested after fleeing the scene. The New York Times and Fox News identified the suspect as Ryan Wesley Ruth, 58 years old, of Hawaii, citing unnamed law enforcement officials. Russell said that the fact that the suspect apparently had body armor with him and knew where Trump would be demonstrated that, while not sophisticated, the incident was not an amateur attempt. Republican presidential candidate former President Trump was safe on Sunday after what the FBI said appeared to be a second assassination attempt while he was golfing on his course in West Palm Beach, Florida.
That wraps up AWANI Tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Saraya Mia, and good night.
Apa signifikan dengan pengumuman ataupun berita yang keluar dari